Once in a while, you just come across a news article that makes your blood boil. The term white guilt isn't used anymore, but perhaps it should, because some people just don't feel good unless they're belittling themselves. And this is the worst case I've ever seen. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
All right, the headline. Sorry for trying to take your grandchild. Suspect in Cash Gernon homicide grabbed sleeping 2-year-old in February. Now, this is an older article. I had never seen it before. I came across this and just thought, oh my God. Let's read this. Now, we should remember the case. That little boy there, he's one of two twins, and they were sleeping in their bed. The creep on the left broke into the room, grabbed him, and took him out and killed him. Then he went back for his twin brother, but for some reason didn't actually take him. So, at any rate, they caught the guy. There's no doubt, really, that he did it. The evidence is overwhelming. But whatever the case, let's go ahead and read about what happened earlier. The 18-year-old accused of killing 40-year-old Cash Gernon, Darriynn Brown, now faces 2 more charges. One of the charges details another incident involving a 2-year-old girl in February of this year, according to an arrest affidavit. Oh, we're going to find out what happens to Darriynn Brown a little bit later. In addition to kidnapping and theft, Brown is charged with injury to a child, elderly individual, or disabled individual. Additionally, he faces a second burglary charge. According to the affidavit for the burglary charge, Brown entered a man's home and started going through all the rooms and closets, picking up a kitchen knife. A kitchen knife? Really? You don't have one of these? Good grief, come on. This is in Texas? So he picked up a kitchen knife. The man demanded that he leave. The homeowner managed to get Brown out of his home, but he came back and started kicking and damaging an interior door between the garage and home. Oh, geez. Okay, get ready for this one. The homeowner opened the door and Brown re-entered, punching the man in the forehead. Well, first of all, don't punch people in the forehead. You're just going to hurt your arm. But the other thing is, why in the hell did you let that man back into your house? What the hell? Are you insane? But it gets worse. It was then that Brown allegedly walked into the living room where the man's 2-year-old granddaughter was sleeping. He grabbed her and started carrying her toward the laundry room at the back of the house near the garage door. Gee, that sounds like felony kidnapping. Her grandfather demanded Brown let her go, but he continued with the child toward the door. Fearing Brown would take the child from his home, the man physically removed her from his grasp, according to the affidavit. The grandfather put the girl back on the couch, then confronted Brown in the kitchen. What the hell's going on here? He places her on the couch and then turns his attention back on Brown. I mean, is there not any sense of urgency here? It's like, okay, let me sit the girl down here for a little bit and go back here and take care of this whole Darriynn Brown thing. Brown allegedly punched the man in the face, then fled out the back door. The child's grandfather later told police that she was startled and began crying when she awoke to Brown holding her. Yeah, that would be pretty traumatic. You're a little girl and you wake up and some dude is walking around with you. Mm hmm. Yep. Yep. Oh, but here's the kicker. At the time of the incident, the homeowner decided not to press charges. So let me see if I got this straight here. A man breaks into your home, punches you, tries to kidnap your granddaughter, and you decide not to press charges? Really? So I guess the police can't do anything. They have to let Darriynn Brown go. Let's see how that worked out. Oh, before we do that, 2 weeks after the incident, the man ran into Brown at Walmart. He told police that Brown approached him and apologized, saying he was sorry for breaking into his house and trying to kidnap his grandchild. Oh, he says take care. But the last time I looked, that's kidnapping. But he's sorry. He feels bad about what he did. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nobody is going to be able to understand the thought patterns of this grandfather, right? Oh, but you are so dead wrong. I'm telling you, this is a case of white guilt. After this incident, and when he did not press charges, that man couldn't wait to get down to his little church group and tell everybody about how he had the opportunity to put a young black kid in jail and he didn't do it. And all the rest of his church group probably applauded him. And they said, oh, that's so wonderful what you did. You are the most non-racist person we are. And he felt so good about himself. This is the white knight. The guy who's going to ride in and demonstrate to everyone that he's the most virtuous of all. This is called virtue signaling. And so he didn't want to press charges because he wouldn't be able to tell his church group about the time that he kept the evil American justice system from sending yet another poor black kid into jail and to oblivion. Oh, the police wanted him, but he stood in the way. He wouldn't let the police get their hands on this young black kid, and they all applauded him. That's what this is about. So let's read on. Child abuse detectives met with the man on May 18th to interview him about the incident on February 8th. He told them that he now wanted to press charges against Brown. Now, when did this happen? Well, guess what? This was 3 days after Cash was found in the 7500 block of Saddle Ridge Drive, about a half mile from a home he was living with his twin brother on Florina. He was lying in a pool of blood, had multiple wounds from what investigators say was an edged weapon, and did not have on a shirt or shoes. The kid was basically stabbed to death by this dude that broke into this man's home. And now he wants to press charges. So what can we make of this? Number one, there's this myth out there, well, if you're black, you're going to get the maximum sentence. Now, why do I say that's a myth? Because the dude that killed that young boy, he won't stand trial. That's right. He's getting away with it. Man charged with murdering 4-year-old Dallas boy Cash Gernon won't stand trial. The man charged with kidnapping and viciously killing 4-year-old Cash Gernon last year was found incompetent to stand trial. A decision the alleged killer's defense team was reportedly hoping for. Yeah, I bet. Defense lawyers say Darriynn Brown was in a trance-like state at the time of the murder and suffers from hallucinations. The prosecution hired their own medical expert who also concluded Brown is incompetent to stand trial. So he's going to get away with it. So what happened to this deal about where, well, if you're black, you're just going to get the maximum? The justice system doesn't work for you. Oh, by the way, more recently, guess what? There's another case that has come up. Man who beat elderly nursing home patient on video, deemed incompetent for trial. He's going to get away with it too.
A young man put in a local nursing home at the beginning of the pandemic physically assaults his elderly roommate.
Well, 2 years later, we learned the criminal case was actually dismissed. Let's get right to Fox News' Randy Wimbley. He's live with reaction. Randy.
Hey guys, the victim's family declined to comment. More on that in a moment. Darriynn Hayden was deemed incompetent to stand trial. His father says he was diagnosed with autism as a child.
So the victim's family has declined comment. If the races were reversed, the victim's family would be out there with a bullhorn, and there'd be 500 people gathered around marching.
Marty says Darriynn was moved from the group home to a local hospital to receive mental health treatment.
Once they found out he had COVID, they was more interested in trying to quarantine him somewhere.
And that somewhere was the Westwood Nursing Center in Detroit, where Hayden shared a room with Bledsoe.
And they put him in a situation where they set him up for failure.
Well, that's excellent. We're so glad that the burden was lifted off of your shoulders.
So in my eyes, he never should have been there.
Darriynn Hayden is now being treated at the Kalamazoo Psychiatric Hospital. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office released a statement saying, in part, the defendant is under the jurisdiction of the probate court. He will receive.
This idea somehow that if you're black, you're going to get the worst treatment by the American justice system is ridiculous. I can give you plenty of examples where people of all colors have gotten away with stuff. It happens all the time. As for that old grandfather who allowed Darriynn Brown to get away with basically trying to kidnap his daughter, my advice to Carter, that is Cash's little twin brother, the one that was able to survive, when you get old enough to understand, haunt that old man till the end of his days. Anytime that old man walks out of a store, you be there and you just stare at him. Haunt him. Make it to the point where the old man does the honorable thing by taking a revolver and a glass of brandy into a locked room. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.